Most of the times when you decide that you want to live in a different way or achieve different goals or have different values from the majority of people, what you got to realize is that you've got to do things that the majority of people aren't willing to do. Right? That means you've got to step outside the bounds of the traditional ways of life. So for example, when I decided that I want to own my own business, right? I had to quit working for someone else because freedom is one of my highest values. I realized that I was going to have to give up this idea of security. And in that, I allowed myself to explore what the absolute worst that could happen if I allowed myself to participate in my desire to go towards living that lifestyle. And the thing I thought of was, look, I've got children that need to eat, and I've got a roof that needs to be put over my head. And I decided that if things didn't work out, I would go pick oranges. You know, I live in Florida, and there's day labor. So I had a phone number for a day labor company. I think it was called Able Body, in my pocket at all times, because I knew that if I couldn't make things happen with my business, I wasn't going back to a career job. I was going to do what I had to do in order to just put food in mouths. And if that meant I'm going to go be a day laborer, that was fine, because I saw that as a means to an end. Most careers end up being an end in themselves, but for me to pick oranges is a mean to an end. The other thing is that if I couldn't pay my mortgage, I was going to live in my van. A lot of you guys might remember my old 1988 van that I drove for several years when I started working for myself. And I decided I'm going to go live in my van and send my children and my wife to live with my parents. You know, grateful that I do have parents that would support that, but I wasn't going to succumb to any of the demands or ideas of other people. I was going to live in my car and pick oranges. So the question that I often ask you, and I ask myself, is what do you really want? Be clear about that. And then what are you willing to do to achieve it? If you really want something, you'll be willing to do whatever it takes to achieve it.
Elliott said, what?